3 months ago, we launched Reignite Freedom and the Global Walkout, alongside people like Robert Kennedy Jr., Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, Mike Yeadon, and others. And originally we were planning a 5-day physical walkout and convoy to our capital cities around the world on the same day. Momentum grew really quickly, but we also realised that it wasn't quite the right time for this event because mandates and restrictions have lifted across the world and people are enjoying their lives again, which is great. But I do want to make something very clear to you all. If they ever try something similar to COVID again, if they try to bring in a cashless society or digital IDs, if they try to bring in the World Health Organization treaty, if they push ahead with their One World government plans, we are all ready and willing to press that button and say no together. The 5-day global walkout from society will happen when the time is right. And until then, we are taking small steps together every single week. These steps are helping us disconnect from the conveniences of globalism because somewhere along the line we all subscribed to globalism by accepting some of the conveniences they offered us. So far we've taken 9 steps together, and this today is step number 10. Step number 10 of the global walkout is to recap steps 1 to 9 and catch up if you're behind. Now some of these steps may seem silly to you or lame, or maybe they don't apply to your country, but we are working towards something really big here. We are collaborating globally, and there are hundreds of thousands of people doing these steps every single week, and it's growing every week. We will be ready for whatever they have planned. And in the meantime, we're gaining strength, numbers, courage, and conviction. So no matter what they throw at us, we're going to be ready. So do the steps that apply to you, do the steps that resonate with you, don't do the ones you don't like, and I will see you next week for step number 11. Step 1, announced by Catherine Austin Fitz, is to use cash as much as possible, and also to print out these little printouts from the Global Walkout website, and every time you pay cash, give the cashier one of these slips as well. Step number 2, announced by farmer Pete Posma from Holland, was to support your local grocery stores and farmers as much as possible. Find out what is grown in your area and try to buy products that are locally grown as much as possible. Step number 3, announced by Dan Aston Gregory from the UK, was to avoid mainstream media as much as possible, even if the headlines are intriguing. Step number 4, announced by Mads Pelsvik from Belgium, was to move your bank accounts to a smaller credit union or smaller community bank if possible. Step number 5, announced by Bethan Nodwell, was to display upside down flags anywhere possible, whether on your fence or even print them out from the Global Walkout website and display them all over your town. Step number 6, announced by Thierry Baudet, a Dutch Member of Parliament, was to have one dinner or lunch a week that is a little bit more special than the rest. Try to invite friends and family over to really build that community again that has been lost during lockdowns and COVID. Step number 7 was announced by Amanda Forbes from Children's Health Defence Canada, and step number 7 was to avoid self-checkouts or ordering food using a QR code. Step number 8, announced by, me, was to watch the new documentary from Robert Kennedy Jr. called The Real Anthony Fauci, because knowledge is power. Step number 9 was announced by Paddy Holohan from Ireland, and this is a take on step number 1, which was to use cash as much as possible. But step number 9 is the business edition, so we are encouraging businesses to display signs telling their customers that cash is preferred. And step number 10 of the Global Walkout is to start from step number 1 and make sure you're doing them to the best of your abilities. On top of that, how about you enroll another friend into the Global Walkout, because there are strength in numbers, and the more we have ready for when the time comes, the better it's going to be for all of us. I'll see you guys next week for step number 11.